You got yours?
Yeah, it was saying I had an error.
So is mine. I'm turning on and off again.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order this public meeting of Board of Johnson County Commissioners on this 10th day of January 2022 at 10 a.m. Please pray with us if you would care to, and then we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have Ron on? Not yet. Okay, I'll go ahead and say the prayer then. Father, we do thank you and praise you for the many blessings that you give to us. We thank you for the forgiveness that you have brought to us through your Son, Jesus Christ. And Lord, I ask that you be with us as we go about the business of the county and the citizens of Johnson County, that we would look to you, that we would make our decisions wisely and for the best of all those who have put us in this position. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ron is on now. Morning, Ron.
He is still connecting.
Okay, well, we'll go on without him then. Assessor approval of contract and employing attorney Dustin Huddleston. If we need, hi, Dustin.
No, I'm good. I'd move to approve.
Ron, can you hear us now?
I can, thank you. Yeah, second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Community Correction Juvenile Approval to apply for the FY 22-23 IDOT grant. I guess we have someone here for that.
We do. Damon Cox, Assistant Director for Juvenile Community Corrections, just seeking approval to apply for the fiscal year 22-23 grant through the IDOC.
I'd move for approval. It's just an annual.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I
We'll
thought.
do it every year.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nope. He wasn't opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to hesitate there.
T-shirt.
What T-shirt you wearing there, Ron?
Well, I was gonna wear a coat and tie and I ordered it through T-Shirt Express, but Amazon didn't deliver it on time.
Ooh, you've been thinking about that one this morning, haven't you? Yeah, how's the weather down there, sir?
It's great. It's about, I guess right now about 75 and sunny. It's just beautiful every day.
Yeah.
How's the weather back there?
It's nice back here. Animal control, approval to withdraw funds from the Latour Fund for purchase of cages. Yeah, just approaching. Name and position.
Good morning, Carrie Pletchy, Director Animal Shelter. I was just hoping to get the money from the Latour IRA pulled out to purchase cages for cats, isolation cages to help with the spread of disease. We're having a lot of problems with that, with the numbers coming in. And then I did ask for an estimate and I haven't really gotten a correct estimate, but it looks to be about 40,000 for that. And then we also want to get some cages for our small animals. We haven't I think we had 62 small pets come in last year, including rats, guinea pigs, you name it. So we want to set up a section in the lobby where we can have those on display without people putting their fingers in or pieces of paper and things like that. And that should be about 10,000.
So that's the 50,000.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it's valued at right now. You'll recall that it's still invested. So really it would be, we'd have to liquidate. Your vote today would be to liquidate that. And then of course we'd have to go through the regular steps to get it appropriated and all that jazz,
Right.
but the fund's already been set up. So.
And I know we reinvested that or
Mhm.
left it in there, so it
Correct.
should be worth a little more than 50.
I think the
this
last
time,
herd, which was at the end of December, was 55.
Yeah, and it's dropped, I assume, a little bit with the market, but I think probably still in pretty good shape, so.
Just one question. Will these cages stay with animal shelter or will they go out with those animals?
No, they are, what they are, isolation cages. There's going to be a room. We're going to redo a room, and they all have glass fronts so that when the animals are sick, it doesn't spread.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted
No,
to
they
ask that. Just to
stay
make
with
sure
the-
they were staying with us and they weren't
Yeah,
going back.
this
out
is
in
part of the
community.
process of updating and remodeling out there to get us
Okay.
up to where we need to be safety wise for the animals. So,
I knew the Latour estate left a lot of money for this purpose.
Yes.
yeah,
solely,
this is
so.
one portion of it. It's just one fund. The other is in another
Yeah.
fund. But
I knew
This
there
is
was
a
some more.
smaller fund that we
Okay.
can get our hands on. So
I am good with it, so I would make the motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public safety communication.
Keith Brandt, 911 Director. So the first thing we have is request to purchase something from Motorola. It's called data replication, especially with the new server that we're working on. We've had some issues with some of the programs that are running that are actually querying data directly from our server. This actually takes that data, replicates it to another location within our center, that all these other things that are requesting information from our server, requested from that location as opposed to our actual server. And because we've been having a lot of issues with slowdown because of the amount of data that's being pulled. So, if we're going to spend that money on the server, we want to protect it as much as we can.
And the amount is $7,047.
Yeah,
$40.
$7,040.90, and then second year maintenance starting at $609.67 moving forward.
I'd move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Second issue here is pending legal review, just for motion's sake.
So the second is requesting approval of a lease agreement with Shelby Products to the chairs that we have in dispatch now. We've been using for 24 hours a day for the last 7 years. The warranty on those has run out. We're requesting. So this is a new thing that this company is doing, where we can actually lease chairs, get brand new chairs every year. And as opposed to buying new chairs. The biggest issue we have right now is, if you ask our staff, is we need new chairs. They're broken down, and we can buy parts for them at this point, then we got to do all the repairs on them, and some of them are getting to the point where they're beyond that.
Do we
Keith, have you done a
cost?
price comparison?
There we go.
Yeah, so if we were to purchase new chairs, we are looking at $17,145 for 10 chairs. Yeah, they're expensive chairs. They're designed 24-hour chairs, which these are the chairs that you'll find in pretty much every dispatch center that I've ever been in.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm familiar with them.
And then the cost for the lease is for a 3-year lease. Let me see, is $14,090. So, but with that, we get, like I said, we get brand new chairs every year, or completely refurbished chairs every year, as opposed to having to buy new chairs. The problem we have with that is if we buy new chairs, then we've got to find out what we're going to do with them. The breakdown is if we buy new chairs every 6 years, or if we do this lease, the difference is, I mean, the lease is a little bit more at $1,775 more a year, but we get new chairs every year.
Well, and the other side of that too is that the chairs really won't last 6 years from what I've seen.
Right. No, we've been, even when they were under warranty, we were still having to order parts. The cylinder that makes the chair go up and down and stay up is the biggest part that we see, and then armrests. So yeah, it saved us all that. It's a company, they're out of just outside of Dayton, Ohio. So they're somewhat local. They've brought chairs over for us to demo. So if something happens, they will come out and fix something or replace it.
It would seem like chairs every year would be a little bit exorbitant in comparison that you said you got 10 years out of these chairs. Do they have a lease arrangements where you get new chairs every 2 years?
Well, the lease it's a 3-year lease. They have 3-year and 5-year options, but with the 3-year lease, there's no difference if you get chairs every year or every 2 years.
And the 3-year lease is 14,000 basically.
Oh, yeah, over the life of the lease, we get a 1% discount if we pay annually. If we get 2% if we pay the whole 3 years, but it's not feasible. So if we pay pay annually, there's a 1% discount.
Yeah, the way I can look at it is really, from what I know of being over there, is we really need to replace those chairs probably every 2 to 3 years, because totally replace them. But if you figure it that way, we're actually going to be on top of it just a little bit. If you go longer than that, keep the chairs longer than that, then we would probably not come out as well leasing, but then we're going to have chairs that are broken down and really not worth anything.
Exactly. And then there's a liability issue. Before consolidation, I know we've had chairs that gotten broken down and people fell out of them. We don't want that to happen.
No. Agree.
Heath, do you have to go to the council for appropriations on this?
No, I can actually do this without increasing the budget at all. I got money within the equipment maintenance line that over the last 3 years, we've averaged about $12,000 that we didn't use in that line. So I would just transfer that money and over for this year, and then moving forward, I would just make that adjustment during budget time.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. We don't want them falling out of their chairs and then lay on the floor to dispatch.
Good morning.
Morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, Wayne Burgess, Johnson County Sheriff. Just have 2 contracts, normal memorandum of understanding with the Clark Pleasant Police Department. And I believe that legal already has that. And I can go ahead and mention number 2 as well. Stericycle, something that we use in the jail for medical, and they already have that contract as well.
Yes, and that requires a document that I need to sign. So that's what we're approving today, correct? Is for me to be able to sign that document.
Yes.
So I have received it. It's just in my folder waiting on me to sign.
Thank you.
To get this approval.
I'm good if everything's in standing order as it was.
Are you taking these one item at a time, or are you combining them?
We'll combine them. These
Yeah.
are for both 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a memorandum of understanding. No big deal. Have a motion on the floor. I have a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Is that shirt for Ron's pickleball sponsorship?
Yeah, that's what he wears when he's refereeing. That way they can see him.
I thought I saw the sheriff on the beach yesterday down here. How'd he get back so quick?
It's only a 2-hour flight, Ron.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long to get there and back, Ron.
Yeah.
Somebody's walking out with a pizza on their head behind you.
We're going for lunch, corned beef sandwiches.
Highway. You need to find you a private room, Ron. Highway Department.
Yeah, there's no privacy here.
Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. First item on the agenda is a renewal of our existing agreement with Indiana Testing Incorporated. This includes necessary activities that are required for CDL truck drivers, including background checks and that kind of stuff. In addition to that, it includes some vehicle inspections as they're qualified to do those, and some other training that's available for our employees. The fees in the agreement are the same as they were originally. They have not increased.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item, a small correction. This is actually the grant agreement between the county and NDOT for our community crossings award from last year. This is what we applied for in the summer that was awarded towards the end of 2021. So similar to how we did the previous community crossings agreement, NDOT has changed, and they now do like DocuSign electronic signatures. So part of the approval of this agreement would also allow Commissioner Baird to sign that on behalf of the board, since it's done online.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it. Business under Board of Commissioners. The first one here is pending legal review, which is approval of a service agreement with J. Dodd Consulting.
Move to approve pending legal.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2022-J-1, ordinance amending and superseding Johnson County Code 22-4-1.
You good with it, Ron?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Approval and award of construction contract for Johnson County Juvenile Center chiller replacement project, which Jason had brought before us, and now they've made their choice, correct? Irish Mechanical, low bid.
I'm good with that. I looked at it and move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carry. Discussion of national opioid settlement, commitment to distribution, which is also another document that I have on DocuSign that I will need to sign once we approve this. But we wanted some discussion on that, did you not, Commissioner West? Or
Well, again, like I said, the last meeting, it looks like if we don't sign it, we just won't get the money. And I hate to deprive the citizens of Johnson County of that money. I think the intended use was something we questioned. I won't reiterate all of that about, I didn't think that action and that settlement was fair anyway, as that the government brought against the pharmaceutical people. But did we ever find out exactly how much money it is?
Go ahead.
Is Zach on? Did he zoom in? There you go. You can ask him.
Hey, Ron. Hey, everybody. So the number, it's fluid. There's a couple levels of opt-in. Zach Lang, Assistant County Attorney, sorry. First, the states had to elect whether or not to participate. Indiana is in, and then the local government units. And so if you think of it that way, without knowing how many people are in or out, our share is unknown. I talked to Kevin a little bit before I was out last week. So I don't have the exact number, but the pot seemed to be pretty sizable. I think also it's important to note there are two pots. There is a distributor settlement pot, and then I think it's the Janssen manufacturer pot. And one of those 400 million or so. But again, we don't know how many times that's going to be split. So I can't even give you a dollar amount. But there are settlement materials with 600-700 pages. And there are schedules at the bottom of proposed timelines too. It's also all not going to come at once. That's probably relevant to your discussion right now. You'll see it come in. I think one of them is over a 4 or 5 year period. So it's going to be a number that's non-zero. It's going to be impactful, but I don't think you're going to get it all at once. And that's kind of where we're at. Do you have anything more specific that you'd like me to touch on today?
No, the state of Indiana ought to have the number of participants at this point in time. Do you know how many municipalities and local county governments participated in this?
I don't know that number. You're right. They'd have a finite number of who's opted into this point, but with the deadline being now moved to the 26th, that number could grow. And I don't have the impression that Indiana itself is highly communicative with what's going on in terms of opting in and opting out. I think they're kind of leaving it up to the units and then going from there. It's not ideal. I would like to have seen a little bit more of what's going on, but I think everyone's a little bit last second with this too. As you all held this at your last meeting, they last second kicked the deadline back 2 or 3 weeks. So
this will probably be comparable to that other arrangement where the state, I think, got $2 billion and they distributed 300 million to 92 counties. It'd be interesting to know how this is going to be divided up. The state ought to have some proportional arrangement already in mind, but I would bet that the state's going to keep the bulk of it, mete out the crumbs to the rest of the local governments. Anyway, I will go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ron, just to answer the last piece too, or at least in the public record, touched on this behind the scenes. These both, I guess, settlements, the distributor and the manufacturer one, there's requirements within them that 85% go directly to abatement of the crisis. And you and I spoke a little bit to that. I just want to put that on record. And it looks like 15% could be used a little bit more broadly. But again, the specifics of what that would look to, there's not an exhaustive definition of yes and no. So you'll have to basically visit that case by case.
I don't know whether, when I emailed you on that, whether I copied the other two commissioners, and if I did, they can stop me. But I just felt like that 85% that had to be committed, one of the areas in which we could utilize that was for prenatal and postnatal care. And I just thought that I would like to see that money go in that direction, primarily because there we're helping and aiding a person or an individual that had no choice in the use of these opioids or whatever. And I would really like to see the money focus there for the unborn and newborn going forward.
Were there any restrictions put on that as far as that type of use for those funds, Zach or Sheena? It's just in that 85%?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think kind of combining your question, Commissioner Baird, and Ron's statement, that would probably be a use that would be approved or accepted. And for the reasons you stated, Commissioner West, I think you'll see a lot of rehabilitation, crisis intervention, and abatement type programming look to the group dynamic, the familial, the social. So I don't see why that would be excluded on its face at least, and certainly something worth looking at if that's important to you.
Well, I looked at the usage that they had out there, and that was one of them. The
Okay.
prenatal,
That was-
postnatal was an accepted usage.
And under the circumstances, I think that would be a fair and equitable use for those funds. And I agree with Commissioner West 150% on that.
Yeah, I am too. I think, Ron, you,
Very well-
that meeting with
very
the
well
health
done.
department might be, just sit down with Betsy and Dr. Qualls and talk to them, try to redirect that money towards that.
Yeah, that would, I'd love to do that.
I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner West. Very good.
So I guess, given all that, I will vote to move forward with this.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second to move forward with the signing of this, which again is in my document file. So if there is no further, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Barb, you did make note of those three, didn't you, for me, please? Thank you. I know I've got them somewhere. They're in my unread. Designate appointee to the JRAC board, which we had some discussion on that. And I don't know if we've had any time to discuss that between.
Did you need additional information?
I think, wasn't there a discussion on whether Commissioner Walls or Commissioner West would be placed on that?
Mhm.
I thought there was going to be further discussion on that.
You
between-
can talk about it all you want. I just don't think there's additional information that I can give you that would help you in making that decision.
Okay.
I mean, it's either it's you or you designate one of the other two. That's what it is.
I'd rather it be one of the other two. So,
Okay, perfect.
I'm good there.
Okay, we got, okay, so then you gotta decide which one.
I really think it's just whoever feels like they want to be more committed to it than the other. I know it's going to probably take some time, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've worked with the courts on other things in this area. I do know, in speaking to Brandy, they had to submit a list of participants on a sheet to the state who's going to be setting on this. And I think from an earlier conversation we had, I think my name is on that now. So if you change and Ron wants to be it, they'll have to do some paperwork to get that changed. But, you know, ultimately it comes down to your decision.
Well, I'll help you out here a little bit. I'll go ahead and go with Kevin. The only reservation I had, and I somewhat expressed that, I think, in our previous meeting, is sometimes I feel like that I just don't have enough information in regard to the courts and the jail and community corrections and areas like that. And it's almost like I'm dealing in the after effects of whatever is going on. And we've talked about this on numerous occasions where it seems like all of a sudden something has to be done, and, you know, there's in the 11th hour and there's no time to really delve into it. That's my biggest concern. I just feel like that somehow or another, there's got to be more sharing of what's going on in these meetings and the communications that are occurring, so that we would have, we being all three commissioners, would have some input into what they're trying to work on, or decisions they're making, or programs they're looking at, and things. You know, I've been strongly involved, or was up until a couple of years ago, as an advocate for more programming in community corrections, and even some renovations or some new ideas that could be applied to the jail. And every time I get any of that information, I forward it on to the sheriff or to Jason out there or whoever. But I just feel like sometimes I'm being left behind in what's going on. So if you can figure out how to at least keep us in the loop, Kevin, on this, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Yep, I will do that. And that is a strong point, because we usually find out about it at the last minute when they go, hey, we need somebody to sit on this board. Hey, can you do it?
Yeah, I was
And
gonna.
that's how some of that rolls out. So it's not, premeditated. It just happens that way. And
I was going to agree with you on that, Commissioner West. I agree. We've been pretty well kept out of the loop on a lot of things going on. And as far as in defense of that a little bit too, as far as community corrections, I've kind of pulled away from that, as everybody knows. And Kevin's on that board now, so I kind of rely on him to bring that information forward to us as far as that goes. As far as what goes on in the other, I don't think any of us are too much involved in anything else that goes on over there.
on an
Commissioner.
as needed basis. How's
Yeah.
that, Ron?
And at the last minute usually. So you're what you said is true. So you gonna move on that? Commissioner?
Yeah, I agreed to put Kevin on there.
Designate.
Okay, I
Kevin
guess
for
it
the
doesn't
record.
require, so
Sorry. This is kind of a weird one.
that's fine. We'll designate that. Commissioner West or Walls will be the designation on the JRAC board,
Beautiful. Thank you.
which
Thank
is
you.
really, I
I'll
guess,
keep you guys
almost
informed.
already there anyway, right? It's already on the list, so. New and old business claims.
There you go, Ron. You're
Well, I
up.
didn't have a chance to review claims, so the sheriff's off the hook today.
Well, it's good because he left anyway.
Oh, did he? That rascal.
He knew you were zooming, so he figured he might as well not stick around.
He thought he was home free, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I take that as a motion.
Well, I'll not make that motion. I'll let you make it, Kevin. I just didn't have access to the claims down here because I didn't have my iPad and I couldn't get them through the information that was available. So I'll let you make
I
that
looked
motion.
over, it's really not anything outstanding, so I'm gonna move to approve. I think that's the
I'll
first time in
second
7 years I've made a move to approve.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner minutes 12/20/2021 regular meeting for approval.
Move to
Move
approve.
to approve.
Second.
Second.
I got two moves. I got 2 moves in 2 seconds. So pick your.
We got an echo in there.
Yeah, it's all working well today, right? I have a motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other business that we need to bring forward? That's all that's on the agenda. Any public comment? Anything, all hearts free and clear? All in-
In regard to general public comments, just to give you a little local news, I would refereed a tournament over in Sanibel Island over the weekend. And the two
Oh.
fellas that won the 5-0 gold medal were from our area there in Johnson County. So
Oh,
it
really?
was it was kind of exciting to see 2 local guys from our area win the gold medal in 5-0 bracket.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I hope is for a safe and good game tonight on the
On the Georgia, Alabama.
Georgia, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
I was downtown this morning. It's getting crazy. So
Yeah, I'm staying away from downtown. I have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I hope you have a good time down there and enjoy the weather. When do you come back?
The 19th.
So you come back right before I leave?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be back on the
We'll be passing
19th.
in tonight. But anyway, appreciate it, sir. I'll entertain a motion.
to adjourn.
Move to
So
adjourn.
Have a
Second
motion, in a motion,
and a second.
in a
there we
second.
go. I'll just yield on the second.
Love this Zoom. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Thank you.